What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Now, I apologize for the delay, but here I am. I'm going to be showing just a short video on how I build custom speaker boxes. And here I'm going to be building a tower speaker. I did take these out of the subwoofer box. I'm going to be building a tower with these two Phillips 4s and a tweeter. Yes, it did lose its dust cap, but it's okay. We won't get air leaks as this is already a sealed tweeter. But yeah, so I'm going to be building a tower speaker. But I'm just going to be talking about what you need and how to build it. So first thing you're going to want is, of course, your cardboard boxes. I would recommend either getting a thick box and a thin box, or just one thick box and then another kind of thicker box, but not super thick box, because you don't want your cardboard to be too thick to cut through. Now you can do what I did with the subwoofer box, and you can cut the pieces individually, but they usually don't turn out as well, and usually just overall don't look as good. But for instance, on this box, the pieces that are going to be cut are going to go on the inside for structural support. So yeah, it's going to be pretty easy, pretty simple. The hardest part is going to be the faceplate, where I have to cut for the two drivers, and the tweeter, that's going to be the hardest part because I have to make it in line with the box. I have to make it so that the thicker part goes inside the box and will be able to be at the same height as the drivers and tweeter. Now, everything you're going to want to need is, of course, your drivers, your tweeters, whatever you're going to be using, your boxes. You're going to want scissors, your two terminals. If your tweeters or drivers or mid-ranges, whatever, don't have capacitors, I'd recommend getting some and soldering them. You're going to want a nice bright marker. For instance, I use this color. It's just really well and easy to use, and one of my favorite colors. You're going to want, this is also a paint marker, by the way, so it works best on cardboard and stays on cardboard. You're going to want some glue sticks. I would recommend big thick glue sticks, and I'd recommend using a nicer glue gun. You can see this glue gun has been through a lot, but it has worked for a long time. It's great. Next, I'd recommend a lighter for if you need to use some wire connectors or butt connectors. And then I would also recommend an X-Acto knife set like this, where you get all the different types of things. Look at that, I got cardboard in here, but you can see it uses all the different tips. So I would recommend getting a set like this. And that's pretty much all you need for your speaker build. And of course, a soldering iron. You're also going to need that if you're going to be soldering wires to terminals. I am going to be soldering wires to terminals, which is going to be great because it's just going to hold. We won't hear any flapping, and it'll just be better. One more thing. I would also recommend this foam. This is mattress foam, but it works really well for either reducing or producing bass. For in this instance, I'm going to be producing bass, so I'm not going to put a ton of it in, but I'm also going to make it so the whole box is filled with enough to produce bass. The next thing you're going to want to need, and I'm not sure if I have one, let me see, is you're going to want a port. Of course, you're going to need a decent sized port if you're going to be using decent sized speakers. I can't seem to find a port right now, but you are going to want a port. I would not recommend just cutting a hole in the cardboard and calling it a port. You need something that's actually going to go into the box and that's going to direct air. I would recommend putting the port on the back so that when you are using your speaker, for instance, this is a tower, you're going to be having the air direction on the wall so that it produces and amplifies off the wall as well as inside or outside the box. You can also go for a sealed option. I prefer sealed over ported, but in my instance, cardboard boxes produce a little bit too much noise, even sealed or even with structural support. This I'm going to be using a lot of structural support because I have the cardboard for it. If you don't have the cardboard for it, I wouldn't recommend putting structural support on the edges of the box. You don't really need that on the edges. I just do it because I like to. But yeah, you mainly want to focus on putting it on all the walls to make the walls thicker and just not vibrate as much. The subwoofer box I had built for these little drivers, these things are super beefy. It was reinforced just a little bit. It didn't have that much. It only had 4 layers. Now this cardboard here is really thick, so this is equal to 2 layers on its own. So if I just use 2 pieces each, that'll give me pretty much 4 layers. So if I just take 2 pieces and put them together, now that's how you're gonna make it stronger. You're probably wondering, how am I gonna make pieces stronger? Well, what you're gonna wanna do is I would recommend before putting it in your box, you're gonna want to cut your pieces out. Once you cut your pieces out, you're going to take those pieces and you are going to sandwich them together with a lot of hot glue. Once you sandwich them together, then you're gonna let that dry and you're gonna put it inside your box. Now, I don't use any kind of Elmer's glue on the outside to stiffen it. I purely use cardboard. You can use Elmer's glue, except I tried that in the past and it did not work good at all. It just made the box super soggy, and when it did dry, it made the box so soggy that the box was warped and didn't look good, did not sound good, and the cardboard was like this. It just was not the best situation for cardboard. Now you can use, sometimes I've used spray paint and it does strengthen it a little bit. Not so much on the edges, as the paint will seep into the edges of the cardboard, but I have used it just on the basic parts of the cardboard and it does stiffen it up a little bit. Not enough that you can tell, but you would be surprised at how much it would. Now the thing about cardboard, and you got to remember, is you're going to want to make it very stiff because it doesn't absorb sound like wood does. I know, I was baffled when I first hear that it does not absorb sound. You'd think that cardboard would absorb sound considering how soft it is, but it just does not absorb sound, which is what the foam is going to be for. This is also going to help to prevent vibrations. The foam will absorb the sound for you. This will act as your wood. Now, I've seen some people use the cardboard as the foundation for the box and then use wood inside the box as the structural supports, which you could do. You could just glue wood inside, and it does make it heavier, but it's more prone to falling off in the inside of the box. So I would recommend just sticking to cardboard, sandwiching the cardboard together, and it's pretty much going to make the box that much stronger to the point where you can properly put speakers in a box. There's a guy on YouTube, I forget his name, but he actually was able to build boxes for 15s and 18s, even, yeah, like, and he won competitions with the boxes, and they were cardboard. He liked them because they were light, super strong, and once you can get cardboard put together, it's strong. Like, just this stuff in itself doesn't bend, and I was putting like pretty much all my might into that, but this just does not bend. This is super rock hard box. This is a super rock hard box. So yeah, if you guys want to know how to build boxes, how I build boxes, this is how to build one. So I hope this helped you guys out. And just remember, you're going to want to layer your cardboard and sandwich it together with a lot of glue. Get some thick glue sticks, a lighter if you need to connect wires together through butt connectors or wire connectors, the mattress foam, a bright marker. I'd recommend this color. It works really, really well on cardboard. Here, if you just show you. Works really, really well on cardboard. And it stays there like that fast, and it's dry. It did come off a little bit, but it's dry. Remember your terminals. I am going to have a third terminal. I believe I'm going to have a third terminal. Or yeah, I might have a third terminal, or I might just wire these woofers in series. They are 6 ohms, so I'll probably wire them in series to 12 ohms to protect my amp. So I'll probably wire those to one terminal, and then I'll wire the tweeter to one terminal. You can see how I use the wire connectors here, if it'll focus. There you go. Oh, no, never mind. My camera sucks. But yeah, you can see how I did that. And then, oh, I forgot to mention, you're going to want wire strippers if you're going to need to strip your wire like this. And then, like I said, soldering. My soldering's not the best, as you can see. God, dude, it won't focus. My soldering's not the best, but it holds. That's all I needed to do. I don't care about how it looks. I just need it to hold. Scissors, a nice glue gun, one that can take big glue sticks and that has a lot of power and this thing gets hot. This thing gets around 800 degrees, so it works really well in situations. And I'd recommend getting either these glue sticks here, which is not sponsored, but the Super Bonders. These things are awesome. They dry really fast and they're strong. Or you can get the Gorilla Glue ones, not sponsored. You can get the Gorilla Glue ones that dry fast, except they usually don't dry as fast as these. I just prefer these because they are way better. So yeah, and like I said, an X-Acto knife set. You might not think you need it, but it really does come in handy, especially the tips that are like a saw blade. God, my camera does not want to focus today. So yeah, that's all for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video on how to. Peace.